Good morning, my Brandy. I'm glad you were able to make it. I missed you this weekend. I feel like we didn't even get to touch base on Sunday. So what is everybody drinking? I am drinking Tazo's Wild Sweet Orange, not sponsored, of course, but having me a little decaf for a little bit. Um, oh my goodness, it's a beautiful day here. Not too chilly. It's in the 40s or 50s. Um, Brandy's having iced tea. Jen is having Canada Dry. Canada Dry diet today. Oh my goodness. It has been the start to a very productive week. I got the blog post drafted and the Medium article drafted, and I have the coffee read to draft next. And but that's going to be some sexy time, so I may save that for the afternoon. Um, Now it's some time to do some business work after this. Today's card was from my drawing Attracting Abundance deck, is in Love and Relationships section. Self-care. Each day stand in front of the mirror and look yourself in the eye. Smile at yourself. Say slowly and with complete conviction, I am greatly loved and I love greatly. And I shared that message with Brandy this morning. I got the last of my Christmas shopping done this morning. Woo woo. I started wrapping a present yesterday. I need to finish it today. I need to decorate it. And now I just have a ton of baking to do. Oh. Hi, Rita. It's good to see you. It's sunny here. Ooh. So that's great, but it's still 10 degrees below. Oh, goodness. Coffee. Nice. Um, I have a package at my box and I didn't get a chance to go get it this weekend, so I will be going to get that tomorrow, probably before my shots. So it's a gift after my back shots tomorrow. We haven't even started, but this is normal for us. Oh my goodness. I Texas is bad enough with its weather extremes. The boyfriend's talking like he wants to go to Wyoming, and I'm like, that's going to be interesting weather extremes. But it's not Texas, so, you know, if he wins the lottery, we can all move to Wyoming. Because it's not Texas, Jen.
That is true. And that is the major selling point.
It's not Texas. Don't get me wrong. I've lived here since I was 7 years old. I am an adopted Texan. But oh, the weather here when it's summer, it's kicking and it's not getting any better. So, and now our winters are getting really weird. So, let's see. I spent self care Sunday yesterday refilling the and I went through my Pinterest and tightened up some of my goals and tasks for next month. So that was fun. Not sure you native Texans would survive a winter in Wyoming. I know. The lucky thing about winters, I don't have to go outside. I work from home. I can just bundle my little butt up. Puppy at my feet, it'll all be okay. I'm originally from Southern California. So, a place where winter rarely happens. It happened once when I was a kid. Someone has to buy groceries. Those can be delivered. He can go buy groceries. I'll send him a picture grocery list. I'll just take a picture of everything as soon as we're out of it and just go, and then just add it all to his picture grocery list. I do. I have answers for everything. I am a planner. This is what a Virgo does. Virgos are like, what do I do? Yeah, we have plans on top of plans. We have sometimes all the way up to D plans. Every now and again. At least there it'd be easier to get a hold of winter gear. Buying winter stuff here, nothing is thick enough for these new crazy winters at all. Like jackets you get here are not that good. Well, doctors don't do home visits. Well, they should.
Doctors also don't see patients when the winter hits, so.
But yeah, it'll be easier to buy winter gear if I moved somewhere where winter is a normal part of life. North Texas, it gets crazy weather, and we're like, what? I don't have shoes for that. I got flip flops and some sneakers. Got flip flops and some sneakers, don't you? Jen's like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, all she has is flip flops or sneakers. How was everyone's week? Oh, I have some interesting stuff to talk about. So I am having a planner sale. Well, it's a site-wide sale. So it's the New Year, New You sale. So all of my planners, workshops, and coaching are on sale till the first weekend in January. Just wear shorts and flip flops. See, you wear all the time, and when there is a foot of snow out, whew. Yeah, no, no. My feet are my thermostat, so if I'm cold, they have to be warm. The cookbook, I just messaged the charity again. So hopefully we'll hear back from them soon. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on formatting and putting all that information in. And yeah, so now it's a matter of getting it all in there, and then got to edit and put in all the Celsius and all that. I did buy a new winter coat for the first time in 8 years. Oh my gosh. I would love to see this winter coat. No, they didn't email back. It's not that they didn't like your email. They just didn't email back. And it's that time of year. So I can understand. Right now, they just worked on a campaign for with Subaru, I think it is. I usually just wear a hoodie. Oh my gosh. See, I'd rather take the cold because I can put more on than the summer where you can't get cold enough. You can't get cool enough. You know, you're just like, let me sit still with a fan blowing on me and not move. Hoodies are the best for all seasons. No. Not here. Hoodies are my life. I also bought a new hoodie today. Oh. Oh my goodness, are we ready to read the next chapter? In Into the Fire? Chapter 14. Hubby will say, I have too many hoodies, but new ones are so soft and comfy. No, I'm not ready for you to read it. Oh, you ready for me to read it? Okay. All right. We are reading from Into the Fire, and there is now a playlist on my YouTube for all the tea time reads that feature this book. So I'll be adding this to that one too. Chapter 14, Travis. Earlier that day. Sometime during Steve's birthday party, Mike came up behind me, patting me on the shoulder. You remember you owe me a game of pool, right? You lost the bet. I did end up popping a string on my guitar the last time we practiced. That's how I find myself downstairs losing to our pool shark of a drummer. Mike's brother Kevin and Kevin's wife Serenity giggle with Steve as Mike sinks another ball. I study the table and how quickly I'm going to lose when I hear Steve telling everyone in the room just how much of a great couple Raven and I would be. Your ass hasn't dated since Bonnie for 4 years ago. Why would we listen to your advice on dating? I remind him, trying to steer the conversation away from the current subject. You should see them together, Kevin. Steve ignores me, and continues sharing his observations. It's so cute to watch them try not to be into each other. One moment they gravitate towards one another, and the next they snap out of it, back 10 feet away from each other. Steve laughs. What gives you the idea that I'd be even remotely interested in Raven? I ask a bit more defensively than I'd like to. I'm actually shocked to find Steve thinks I want more than a working relationship with Raven. So she has featured in way more fantasies than I'd like. They don't need to know that. I'm sure it's just because we're thrown together more often than I'd like. I'm not going to have a repeat of my relationship with Jessica. If that relationship has taught me nothing else, it's that I should strive to keep business and pleasure separate ventures at all times. I don't see why not. She's bright, kind, warm, stable, an amazingly talented person, and an independent woman. What you don't need is another clingy starlet like Jessica, Steve fires back just as heatedly. She makes lists. She likes routine. That's so not me. Amanda even mentioned that she thinks Raven could be my stalker trying to gain attention. What if Amanda's right? I wave my cool cue at him. I'll not make the mistake of having a relationship with someone I work with again. Damn him for knowing I'm thinking of my disastrous relationship with Jessica. So far, we're sure she hasn't written the notes by my anonymous stalker is so fond of leaving. I don't really believe it can ever be Raven, but saying it will make them back off on the subject and help of me having feelings for her. The room grows deathly quiet after my little tirade. I slowly turn to see what they're looking at in the doorway behind me. Raven walks into the room and places a tray of drinks on the table. She gives Steve a strained smile and wishes him a happy birthday. Then she turns around, her spine ramrod straight, and walks right back out of the room. And that is my cue to exit stage left. Steve gets up from the table and starts to collect dishes and trash. Kevin and Serenity follow his lead. You still owe me a full game, bro. Mike decides as he starts to clean up and set the pool table back to its beginning position, shaking his head at me the whole time. They're right. It's the end of the party. I feel so guilty for saying something I don't truly believe and hurting Raven in the process. But I'm sure they would want me to be smart by not having a relationship with an employee. Raven is probably unhappy that we were discussing her without her being able to answer for herself. It must feel terrible to know someone thinks something horrible about you and then shares that information with others when you can't defend yourself, especially when you aren't used to it and it's coming from your employer. I have to deal with it from the media and the public both, but I made that choice when I got into this business. She didn't consent to that kind of behavior, and I'm not usually such a gossip or an ass. and pick up dishes and trash, following everyone upstairs to the kitchen, finding Tony elbow deep in the kitchen sink doing dishes from the party and Raven totally absent. Happy birthday, I tell Steve one last time as I hold the front door open for everyone as they leave. He only smiles at me and shakes his head with regret. Thanks for the party, Travis. Please tell Raven the food was awesome. Oh, and fix it, he advises, heading to his Harley Davidson parked in the driveway. I shut the door and rearm the security system. Do you need some help? I ask Tony as I come back through the kitchen. No, I'm all good. I walk up the stairs. How could Amanda even suggest Raven was the stalker? Her only evidence just hinged on the fact that Raven was new to my staff. I shouldn't have kept Amanda's theory to myself. It was weak and truthfully adds nothing to my argument on my lack of attraction for Raven. Neither can I find fault with Steve's reasons for anyone finding Raven attractive in the first place. Lost in inner monologue, I almost missed the bloody knife and shiny crimson on my bed. A crimson ribbon tied in a neat bow only adds to the creepy nature of the knife resting on top of my pillow. I've already pulled back the blankets, bracing my knee on the sheets. The strange scent of paint strikes me, and I notice the knife. Drawing back from the bed, shaking my head in despair. Shit. Did my stalker make it into my room, my personal space, to leave this creepy gift? I back out of my room and continue down the stairs. I know better than to touch any more of the area than I already have. Tony's sitting at the table, typing away at a laptop when I enter the kitchen. Tony, we have another gift from my friend. I sigh as I drag my hand through my shoulder length hair in frustration. Where? Did you touch anything? Tony immediately peppers me with questions. My bed. No, I didn't touch it. I'll call the police while you check out the scene. Do you mind letting Raven know while I go change clothes? I gestured to my pajama pants, having changed before finding the present. It's going to be a long night again. We part ways, and eventually I set up camp back down in the kitchen. It's my favorite room in the house, and being here always gives me a sense of comfort in moments of stress. Growing up in the South, I'm accustomed to spending time in a kitchen. My mother often described it as the heart of a house. Often families gravitate to the kitchen no matter where else in the house any event might be taking place. It's no different than my parents or grandparents finding comfort in the hearth. Eventually, Raven brings me a fresh cup of coffee. I'm sure they're going to catch this person and make it all stop soon, she consoles me. You'll have your life back before you know it. Thank you, Raven. You're the best, and I need to do a better job at being a better employer. Meeting her gaze, respecting her sincerity and empathy, I can't imagine this is an easy job for her to have. You're stressed. It's understandable. She gives me a small smile, and it somehow makes me feel a little better. We do need to talk about a few things as soon as we can, though. I nod, but feel my shoulders slump. Soon, I say softly. She nods her head in assent and walks back to the coffee maker across the room. I sit for questions with the police. Yes, I had a party earlier that evening. Yes, I knew everyone on the guest list. Yes, I'll give you the list and contact information. No, I didn't notice anyone strange around the house. I don't believe the stalker was anyone I know. In no way do I relate to them. Amanda's beliefs about Raven. When they depart, I thank them for their time and help, and Tony ushers them from the house. We all head to our respective beds, though I choose to sleep in one of the guest rooms upstairs. I'll deal with the sheets in the morning. I sleep in after leaving a message for Eric about last night and the new threat from my stalker. It's almost 11 when I find myself staggering down the stairs, stumbling towards the kitchen and the promise of caffeine. Raven's sultry voice drifts across the open hall and stops me dead in my tracks. I'm suddenly struck with an image of her laying across my king-size bed naked, that voice telling me all the things she wants me to do to her body. I shake myself, trying to bring myself back to my senses, and stand there considering ways to enter the kitchen without her seeing my natural reaction to that mental image. Then what she's saying sinks into my brain. She's on the phone. Yes, I understand I missed the interview. I was wondering if CFX was still looking for an executive chef. A pause. I see, yes. I understand. Thank you for your time. Why is she looking for another job? Is she unhappy working for me? Have I made her that uncomfortable? Or is it the threat of the stalker causing her to look for employment elsewhere? This could be a good thing. Maybe I could get back to normal, not think about her every spare moment. Morning, I call out cheerfully, warning her of my approach as I step into the kitchen proper. Morning, coffee is ready. I have some shopping to do later. Is there anything you would like on the menu this week? Surprise me. My mouth is a crooked grin. I could drive you if you like. I know use public transportation or driving services to get around. I'm sorry. I know you use. Oh no, you don't have to go to any trouble for me. She looks back down to this at this sheet of paper in her hand. It's no trouble, I assure her. In fact, getting out of the house sounds like a great idea. I'd welcome the distraction before I have to change the sheets upstairs. I don't like to think about someone in my room yesterday. Maybe it's a great opportunity to talk about what happened at the party in the phone call I just overheard. I can understand wanting to get out. She smiles at me. Sure, a ride sounds nice. We fall into a companionable silence as I prepare my coffee and pull up the news feed on my phone. We existed pleasantly in this tiny bubble until it was shattered by the ringing of the doorbell. I move to the front door, knowing Tony should be right behind me. Raven follows, but stays 10 steps behind me to my left, leaving a path for Tony to come up on her right. I look through the peephole and see no one on the front porch. Tony pulls up his phone and the application for the house cameras. Clear. A box on the porch and a motorcycle leaving the drive, he announces as I hear the engine revving outside. I open the front door and peer out the crack. The box sits on the front porch in stark white against the caramel-colored wood. A clear window on the box faces the front door, shows 12 dozen deep red roses inside and a dead raven with a bright crimson red ribbon tied around its neck. I want to reach out and grab a hold of Raven and keep the sight of the morbid interior from her. The ribbon here is the same color as the ribbon of the paint and of the paint-covered knife on my pillow. I feel without a doubt that Amanda has been wrong about Raven, and now my stalker isn't haunting me. Bit by bit, I let the door close as I back away from the box. Putting out my phone, I dial the police for the second time in less than 24 hours. Do we want to continue to chapter 15? Aw, thank you, Brandy. Yes, okay. Chapter 15 it is. Chapter 15, Travis. The police arrive a little later, taking fingerprints and reviewing the video feeds from the front of the house. We can't get much from the footage about the person who delivered the package. They even went over the stalking laws for the county because we were uncertain who the stalker is. We can't prove that it's only one person repeatedly and intentionally harassing me. We also can't prove that they are following me physically from my place of residence to my work or any other location with an intent to maintain a visual or be in physical proximity to me. Essentially, the stalker has neatly managed to stay within a loophole of the local law. The contents of the box disturb me more than the knife on my pillow did. This one feels like a direct threat to Raven, leaving me to believe that my stalker can be fixated on her now. If something happens to her, I'll never forgive myself, especially if it happens before I have a real chance to say I was sorry for my behavior the night before. How do we keep her safe? I asked Tony quietly as the police go about their business. I have a team in a safe house, he replies immediately, as if he's already considered the possibility. But we have to get her consent to go. Tony's hair is a mess from constantly combing his hands through it, and there are bags under his eyes. Leave me concerned. My problems are taking their toll on all of us. Do you think we'll need to convince her somehow? I want to know, prepared to do whatever it takes to get her to safety. Hell, I'll even fire her if I have to. I don't think it'll take much to get her to leave. He doesn't even have to give me that knowing look for me to cringe at his unapologetic appraisal of the state of my and Raven's relationship. But there will be time for apologies and righting wrongs later. Raven's safety is my highest priority right now. Leaving the police to get into their squad cars, we find Raven in the kitchen. Ever since she moved in, my kitchen feels warmer and the house felt more like a home and less like a building. I visit on occasion. Would she have this effect on any place? Is it just that she's been comfortable here? She's cleaning up the coffee and breakfast she made for the officers. At this point, all of us are running on only a few hours' sleep. The toll shows in her body language, the lack of her normal grace. Raven often appears to dance around a kitchen. It's part of her charm, but now her life shouldn't be in danger. This isn't the reality I want for her. She should be focusing on her chocolate-centered cookbook, not serving meals to the police and having her life threatened by psychos. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have hired her and put her in this situation in the first place. Maybe she shouldn't pursue that job. Maybe she should have pursued that job offer from CFX. Then she wouldn't be in this mess. As I stand back and watch her, Tony moves closer and gently rests his fingers on her arm to get her attention. I'm envious of him as I watch their conversation, knowing how much I want to be able to touch her, but I don't trust myself with her. Being the only woman nearby means she's featured in my fantasies more often lately, like nightly. It's been a hard few weeks, and regardless of my intentions, kissing her at the zoo didn't help my resolve, so I keep my distance. She was so soft and warm, her lips supple and responsive. She kissed me intently then. Of problems for me ever since. But I'm not meant for someone like her. She's the kind of woman you marry and grow old with. I'm not supposed to want her. That isn't the part of the sort of relationship I'm made for, no matter what I learned watching my parents growing up. Witnessing how love can last through hard times, I know for a fact I don't have the staying power or the endurance to live that kind of life. Tony ushers her to a stool around the island and puts a cup of coffee in front of her. She sips it and gives Tony her full attention. Raven, I believe that Travis's stalker has become fixated on the fact that you live with him. This latest threat might be for you, for your safety. I would like to get you to a safe house. It's easier to watch out for one person than two. Dividing my attention can be distracting. He pauses, lets that sink in. Her eyes get wide for a moment. She looks my way, and then quickly back to Tony as if she's afraid she'll get caught looking at me. I have a group of old military friends who can come and take you to a safe house out of state. You can take the time to finish your cookbook and rest in safety. However, I need your consent in order to do this. What do you think? She pats his arm in a comforting manner, then glances over her shoulder at me. I can't put a finger on the look in her eyes and the meaning behind it. She seems to look into me more than at me. I try to convey with my eyes and body language that I need her to go. I need her to be safe. But I also need the temptation of her out of my life. I need to prove to everyone that we aren't going to be a couple. She turns back to Tony and nods her head in the affirmative, her shoulder tight and fist clenched around the coffee mug. I'll go. Let me pack that bug out bag you told me about. She picks up her coffee and heads to her room. I almost feel like she's leaving for good. I found myself growing sad at the thought of not seeing her light up a room again, light up my home again. I shake my head and head upstairs to deal with the mess of my bed. The sooner I get everything back to normal, the better. At least that's what I hope will be true. I spend most of the next day in the recording studio playing with a section of a song that's frustrating me. The green light I had installed to inform me when someone is ringing my doorbell starts to flash. I carefully put down my Gibson acoustic guitar with its vintage sunburst design and head upstairs. Finding 4 men in my kitchen, 3 of whom tower over Raven, the last one only slightly taller than she is. Their body language and stance identify them as military men. Tony introduces them to Raven as I watch. I'm surprised that Tony could get his friends here so quickly. This is Walt. Tony points to the shorter man first. Walt shakes her hand and smiles in greeting. A boxer's build hides behind a dark, floppy puppy dog look. I wouldn't want to take him on in a ring, though. This is Malcolm and Nate and Elliot. Tony continues, indicating each in turn. They're from my old SEAL team. A chorus of deep male voices greets Raven with respectful ma'ams. If I'm casting any of these guys for a bodyguard role, it would be Malcolm. Lightly tanned skin, sun-bleached brown hair, and sunglasses, a tan line tells the story of someone who watches over celebrities in Los Angeles. The guy that scares me the most of the four is Nate, towering over Raven by 6 inches at least. His exotic looks and tribal island tattoos cast him as the action hero type. He screams SEAL badass. The slightly shorter Elliot is just as exotic, but in a different way. Something about his looks and stance speaks of Asian ancestry and knowledge in martial arts. Though long and lean, I'm sure his stature hides a lot of strength and knowledge on how to inflict pain. They're going to take good care of you, and I'm certain they're going to love your cooking, he jokes to lighten the mood. The moment of tension during the introduction seems to pass all at once as they laugh and relax somewhat around her. They make conversation about the strange things the others have eaten and what they've tried to get the others to eat. Raven laughs and makes comments, but I can tell she's uncomfortable about leaving. I want to go over to them and stop this whole thing, but I stay rooted to the spot. Tony's right. It'll be harder for him to watch both of us at the same time. The safest place for Raven is far away from me. Well, we better hit the road, Malcolm interrupts them after checking his watch. Raven looks at me when he speaks with a small, shy smile, walks over to her bags. She didn't pack much, which surprises me after dealing with Jessica's mass of luggage everywhere we went, but I know that Raven isn't the type to make a fuss. Elliot reaches out to help her with her bag, and she politely tells him that if she packed it, she'll carry it. A respectful light fills his face, and I know that any one of these men could easily fall in love with her. The thought causes my stomach to drop to my knees. I grow sick at the images that fill my head of her under someone else, them making her sigh and moan. I reassure myself I'm not the one for her. Someone else will do all the things that have invaded my dreams. I turn my back from the group and walk to the back door. I don't want to witness her leaving. The early July sunshine warms my skin, but not my mood. I want to pretend she never brought her light, laughter, talent, and temptation into my life. I want to pretend she's better off far away from here, and I'm better off with her gone. I'll avoid saying goodbye to her so I can avoid looking into her eyes and begging her to stay. So next week we'll read Raven's chapter 6 chapter next. I hope you enjoyed that. Do you have any questions about the upcoming sale? We have a few more things going on. AuthorWorks seating ends this week, actually ends Friday. So does the Writing Buddy seating ends Friday. So also, if you're new or watching the replay, I own a writing group, and all the links for that is down below. I know, it's sad. It's the bleak moment. Every romance has that bleak moment. Now we're at the bleak moment. Oh, I know. That'll be coming out soon. We just will have to match everybody. But it's going really good. We're really excited with what we've got for you guys this time around. And yeah, I just can't wait. Oh, this one, yeah, it's the big soup mugs. But I am having Wild Sweet Orange by Tazo, not sponsored. And I have an AJ. I do have an AJ. So I will be live again on Friday and Saturday. So I will see you for Christmas Eve, our Bookmas Eve. And I hope you excuse me, I hope you have a beautiful week. Um, and let us know on the Facebook or in the Discord how your week's going, what's motivating you this Monday. It's been lovely to spend time with you and to experience the book with you all. And I will see you later in the other sprint.